Welcome to a wonderful and most spectacular game that involved a truly spectacular queen sacrifice in a game between Etienne Bacrot and Peter Leko. A queen sacrifice that ended in a beautiful checkmate. So this is a game from 2008 from the Grand Prix in Elista. Now in this game we have the Caro-Kann. Defense Bacrot is playing with white and Leko is playing with black, and to be honest it follows pretty much mainline theory, opening theory until about move number 15. There's still nearly 1,000 games in the database here. Long castles by Bacrot, knight to f6, knight to e4 by Bacrot, castles by Leko, and here we get a little bit of a surprise by Etienne Bacrot. We get, can you see what move he went for? The normal move here is king to b1, but we got pawn to g4, enticing a free pawn. And after takes, we got queen e2 and pawn to f5. Then we get rook d to g1, putting on the same file as the king, as you like to do. But interestingly, of course, this hangs a knight. So what is the idea behind Bacrot? Because if he takes, queen takes, knight attacks, pawn takes, king takes pawn, knight attacks the rook after takes, pawn takes, knight drops back, you win another pawn, you get queen to c8, and after takes, takes, and bishop to e3. This is actually a winning position for black, even though they're up. They've given up a knight for 2 pawns, but not enough compensation here. Another variation is here, instead of playing knight back here, we can play queen to d3, and after knight takes back, of course, you fork the knight and the rook, but again, after rook to f6, you can take, and after rook covers here, and something like bishop to e3 to protect the pawn on f2. This is completely equal in game. So maybe Bacrot was not exactly in a super attacking move. That was something that he was doing. But we see that Leko, instead of taking on here, even though it could have been better for him in some variations, decides to play solid. He plays rook to e8, which is, to be fair, a winning move. It's -2 at this position in the board. We get knight to e1 by Bacrot, again wanting to sacrifice this knight. And we get e5 by Peter Leko. We get knight to g3 and e takes d4. Now, a better move here would have been after knight goes to g3, we could have got this bishop to g5, and this is a very nice combination here. We get bishop takes g5, e takes d4, queen to d4, queen to d2, h takes g5, knight takes f5, rook takes e1, queen takes e1, and queen to f4, check. And this is completely winning for Peter Leko if he sees it, but unfortunately he doesn't. In the game he plays e takes d4, and so the game is still finely balanced at this stage. And Bacrot clearly was in attacking mode in this game because he gives the most spectacular queen sacrifice, but he's clearly got a couple of attacking ideas. He's got this, he's got the 2 rooks lined up on the G and the H file. He's got this pawn, which could be an attacking piece later on. He's clearly looking very much further down the line. He's got this bishop as well on this diagonal. All of these things play into part as the game goes on. So here we see Bacrot again, as we said, he's in full out attack mode. He's going for the win, and he plays knight to f5. And after rook takes f5 and queen to g4, of course he's attacking on the g7 pawn here, which would be, of course, checkmate. So we get rook to f8, f7. Now, a better move by Leko here is rook to g5. Now, after rook to g5, you'd get bishop to g5, giving up the sacrifice, you get the check. And this is a completely balanced game. You don't have to worry about figuring what you're doing. Something like knight to g5, queen to f5, knight takes on c4, knight to d3, queen to c8, queen to c5, b5, and rook to e1. And, this game is fizzling out to a draw. But in the game, we get rook to f7 by Leko. Now, this allows, of course, this bishop, which is lined up nicely on the h6 pawn, to take a pawn for free. And so we've got level in overall, and after bishop f6, bishop to d2 and knight to e5, white is slightly better in this position according to the computer. We get queen to e2 and d3, and now this is really cleared into to Bacrot's way of thinking. So Bacrot, he's in all-out attack mode, and by forcing him to put his queen on e4, we can think about a few things. So this h7 position is attacked. We've got the bishop taking h6. We've got two rooks here, and we've got a pawn. So we've got a lot of pieces in the attack. And that really helps Bacrot to think about what he's doing. So we get queen to b6. We're attacking the pawn here clearly on f2, but also this pawn on b2, because we can move with the knight, but we would have to, wherever we go with the knight, it's a free move because we would be facing a very dangerous check otherwise, and a bad combination because, of course, say if we played something, let's just say a weighty move, something like this, obviously you would never play this, you couldn't take back because we would be facing some very serious problems as white. Something like this could happen. So b3, then we get queen to c5, we get h6, and here Bacrot is ready to go full out all attack. Can you see what his plan is? Can you see where this queen sacrifice is going to come from? It's going to be more spectacular than you would think, because I was struggling to see this. So we get queen to a3 first of all, then king to d1, and here's the fatal mistake. By Peter Leko, we get queen to a2. It's a free pawn. Is it a free pawn? It clearly isn't. And in this position, we get a beautiful move. This is our queen sacrifice. Can you find it? It is the rather wonderful, the rather magnificent. Pause the video if you can't find it. It is queen to h7 check. Beautiful move by Bacrot. And if you take with the king, it's mate in 3, because after pawn takes with the check, king moves back to g8, we get a beautiful check made. What a wonderful game this was by Etienne Bacrot, even though he was in a very precarious position himself. And what a way to beat Peter Leko, and one of the best commentators that we have today. So I hope you enjoyed the game. Thank you for watching.